Shalom, Israel. It's that time again. The ISUPK, under Commanding General Yahana, presents the Lord's 57th Annual Passover. That's right, the Lord's 57th Annual Passover, April 4th, 2026, in Houston, Texas. All Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans are commanded to observe the Lord's Passover. This will be the biggest Passover to date. You do not want to miss this. Fresh lamb, fresh wine, and bitter herbs as commanded by the Most High. Only $200 per person, ages 17 and up. The biggest event of the year. There is only one Passover, and it's under Commanding General Yahana. See you there, Israel. Shalom.
Shalom. This is to all Israelite groups and all Israelite communities and all breakoffs from One West and breakoffs from breakoffs from breakoffs from breakoffs. No matter what rainbow uniform you wear, red, white, purple and white, all white, it don't matter. You should all treat the ISUPK like your weird, misunderstood Sabbaths. You shouldn't do anything until you counsel with the ISUPK. We'll tell you when and what to eat. We'll tell you who to marry. We'll tell you who to have sex with and how. We'll tell you how to resolve conflicts with your wives. We'll tell you how to resolve conflicts with your kids, your brothers, your sisters, your parents, your friends, everybody. We'll tell you when and how to pray. We'll tell you how to direct your life in a way that's pleasing to the Most High God of Israel and our Black King Yahushua, a.k.a. Jesus Christ. We will be to you instead of a God. Just like the Most High told Moses in Exodus 4:16 that Aaron would be to him instead of a mouth and he would be to Aaron instead of a God, that's what we'll do for you. It is what you all need because none of you know what the fuck you are doing. I pray you understand. Shalom.
All right, shalom. Yahal Bashim Yahushua Brakathum to the brothers. Shalom. Yahal Shamar Latham Bashim Yahushua to the sisters. With the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, start out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yahana. This is the Friday night Lashawan Qadash class. Go ahead, clap it up for the Lord. I mean, this is the Friday night Lashawan Qadash class where we break down the. This is the Friday night Lashawan Qadash class where we. Hey, y'all go back there. Go. You too. Go get out of here. This is the Friday night Lashawan Qadash class where we break down the scriptures from a linguistics perspective. So that you can get a full 360 scope of what the Bible is actually talking about. You notice every time you get into a conversation with some Christians. They play the semantic game, which leads to a lot of their misunderstandings of the Bible. Like the foundation of like they argument when they try to say like Christ is somehow God. The Bible says that Christ has a head. What was that in 1 Corinthians, I believe it is? But it says the hierarchy. It says the head of Christ is God. Now, if Christ and God are the same, then how could God be the head? And Christians are so bugged out. Like they'll really go into a deep dive trying to explain how they the same, but they also separate. Like they'll try to make Christ and God the same, but they say God is what they call it, the Godhead. They say that Christ or the God is the Godhead, and then Christ is, but it don't make no damn sense. But they don't. The reason why in their mind that works is because they think that they don't know what you got it.
Sir. The script it'll be First Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 3. But I would have know that the head of every man is Christ.
The head of every man is Christ. So this is talking about a hierarchy. This is a pecking order. So the head of every man is Christ. So Christ is the head. Then there's every man under him, just like in the ISUPK. And this is another thing too. Like, you know what I mean? In your oppressor's military, we understand rank and order. We understand rank and order when it comes to your oppressor's military. We understand rank and order when it comes to your oppressor's police force. We understand rank and order when it comes to, you know what I mean, even in the Christian church. You got a bishop, you got a deacon, you got the head pastor, you got the guest pastor, however the hell, you know what I mean? You got the evangelist, which I don't even know what the hell an evangelist is. Well, you know what an evangelist is? I just know my family was full of them. But
Terminology.
yeah, but you understand rank and order in the Christian, even in the Christian church. You understand rank and order in your oppressors, in your oppressors world. You know, when it comes to politics, and that's how bugged out we are. You know what I mean? That's how bugged out our oppressor system and what they've taught us has made us. You know what I mean? Because we can understand rank and order when it comes to your job, your slavery as we call it in here. You know what I mean? We can understand that there's a CEO, then you understand that there's a regional manager, and then you understand that there's uh, a manager over whether it's a store or a restaurant or a business or whatever the case is, and then you got your assistant manager, and then you got your supervisor, and then you got, you know what I mean, you got supervisors, then you got you know what I mean, people. You know that there's a rank and order on your slavery. We understand rank and order everywhere but in this Bible. Now all of a sudden when it get to the Bible, now Christ has to be God. That's how you know this whole thing is bugged out. Go ahead.
But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ.
So the head of every man is Christ. Go ahead, Slakia.
And the head of the woman is the man.
And the head of the man, the head, Slakia, the head of the woman is the man. You know what I mean? And that's another thing, you know, that's a different topic. But that cuts all you Christians. Oh my God. That cuts all you Christian that and all you what's the word? I don't want to insult nobody because y'all just don't know. You know what I mean? It's a point where I didn't know. I mean, we think the woman is God. Read that again.
And the head of the woman is the man.
The head of what?
And the head of the woman is the man.
Nah, the woman is God, right?
And the head of the woman is the man.
The head of the woman is the man. And I'm gonna explain it the proper way. But what I want you to understand is the way that hey. But the way that the way that Christians have put it in our mind to understand the Bible or to understand life. So Christ is God, the Most High is God, Christ is God, the woman is God, and men are God. Everybody God. There's no hierarchy. That's why when you say that you're spiritual, or when you know what I mean, what you really saying is when somebody say that they God, if you don't understand this Bible and the linguistics behind the Bible, when you say that you God, what you're really saying is that you make the rules. And that's why we destroy right now. That's why you make the rules. So you get high. You decide you get high. You decide what you get high on. You decide that you go sleep with whoever is available to sleep with. That's the condition that we in. You know what I mean? Because we don't understand the linguistics of the Bible. The Christian church don't understand the linguistics of the Bible. So we think that we God. So that's why I don't know if you ever had this, you know what I mean, you ever talked to you know what I mean, anybody in the world. Like the more conversations you have with people in the world, you're gonna see that we like to pretend that we got like a moral compass or like we got standards that we live by. We got rules and laws that we live by. I don't do this. I'll do this, but I don't do this. But presented with the opportunity, you're going to realize that most people in the world really everybody outside of the ISUPK, presented with the right opportunity, you're gonna change your standards. Like you don't steal until the opportunity to steal. Hey, no, y'all, no, we're not doing that right now. Y'all relax. All right, go color on the board. Go ahead. It's all right. Oh yeah, I know. But you what you'll see in the world is nobody has standards because you're making it up as you go. You don't steal until the opportunity arises to steal. And now, once you steal, yesterday you wasn't a thief, but now you done made a justification. No, get up, get up, get up. We're not doing that. Now you done made a justification to steal. And now you justifying it. You know what I mean? You're not an LGBTQ. Yeah, I done heard this a whole bunch. You know what I mean? You not LGBTQ until you have a little too much to drink. Or especially our sisters, you know what I mean? Salakia. But you know what I mean, you ain't LGBTQ until, you know what I mean, the right sister come along. Hey, stop. Don't do that. But you ain't LGBTQ until the right sister come along, or until you done had a little too much to drink. You know what I mean? Until you whatever the case is, you go to the. I guarantee everybody that went to them Diddy parties was not LGBTQ until the right situation arose, and now, I mean, now all of a sudden you not LGBTQ, you just comfortable with your sexuality, which don't make no sense to me. Like, why do I gotta? I know I'm sidebar, but why do I gotta be feminine or do something LGBTQ to show my masculinity? Like, why can't I just be masculine? Why can't I just be a man? You know what I mean? Like that don't make no sense to me. Like, why to show that I'm comfortable with my sexuality as a man? Why do I got to put on a dress? You know what I'm saying? That don't make no sense. But that's what the world teaches you, and that's because you're God. And the Christian church don't understand what that means. Go ahead, read on. You still got that?
Another one, con. And the head of Christ is God.
And the head of Christ is what?
And the head of Christ is God.
Is who?
God.
Go to, let me get that, it should be that, what's that joint called? The Concordance. And this is going to be an excellent resource for y'all brothers and sisters to use. I want y'all brothers and sisters to get real comfortable with this Concordance. And it's not that deep. The reason why brothers and sisters, not that one, the one that's toe up, that's my personal one. I'm not familiar with. But you know how to use that, right? Look up God. And what you can do, okay, we're gonna go through the whole process, right? Just for teaching purposes, because this is the Lashawan Qadash class. So you might as well go into it. Look up God in the front part. I forget what the front part is called. What was you about to say? Okay, no sweat. But the way pretty much the way the concordance is set up is there's a, in the front portion, it's like a dictionary. It has every word that's in the Bible and its uses. It has every word in the Bible in alphabetical order, and it's laid out, you know, with all its uses, all its different uses and contexts. And next to those words, it has a concordance code, what's called a concordance code. So if it's in Hebrew, it'll say H followed by up to 4 numbers. You know what I mean? And those numbers are also in alphabetical order according to the Hebrew. So in the English, it's A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So in the front portion, it's just like a dictionary. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, P, so on and so forth. You know what I mean? In the Hebrew is Abba, Gada, Hawaza, Chata, Yaka, Lama, Nasa, I, Pataza, Kwa, Rashata. And those concordance codes are in relation to the Hebrew in its order. So a word that starts with the character it'll be like 001, 002, 003, so on and so forth. And then Ba will be, it'll pick up from like 469 or something like that, depending on how many character or words start with ah. What you got? So God is. Did you look it up in the English first? Okay. Um, read the how many which concordance code shows up the most? I know you got it.
So like 430.
Okay, so 430. I'm assuming
H430.
H430. So H, the water for saying that. You just jogged my memory. So H indicates Hebrew. H and whatever numbers follow that, that indicates the Hebrew. If you see G followed by some numbers, it indicates the Greek, because the Old Testament was written in the Hebrew and translated from the Hebrew. The New Testament, was translated from the Greek. So H is for Hebrew, G is for Greek. All right. But the thing about the Greek that I want brothers and sisters to understand is that Salakia, even when you use Greek words or when you see Greek words in the Bible, you have to apply the way that we spoke in the Hebrew. So even if you see a word in Greek, and that's another thing that throws Christians off, like, you know what I mean? There's some brothers and sisters that's sincere about learning their culture and identity. You know what I mean? Try to dive into this Hebrew all by themselves, but then you get jammed up because you see Greek words and how they use. But these are obviously two different languages. So the way you say, the way things are said in the Hebrew is a little bit different than how you say things in the Greek. And it's the same as how you speak English. Like Black English is a little bit different than Caucasian English. Like if a Caucasian says, "Oh, that's my dog," you know, 9 times out of 10, they talking about either they're trying to use our slang and our culture, you know what I mean, or either they doing that, or when they say that's my dog, they talking about a literal canine. Like, yeah, that's my dog. His name is Rex. He's a Yorkie. You know what I mean? This, that, and the third. You know what I mean? He's talking about a four-legged canine. But when we say that's my dog, you know what I mean? I could be talking about a four-legged canine. I could be talking about, you know what I mean? That's my, you know what I mean? That's my boy. You know what I mean? Even when I say that's my boy, I'm not talking about, you know what I mean, he's a child. Like, even though, you know what I mean, this is a grown man, but that's my boy. You know what I mean? You understand how I'm using it because of how we speak as a culture. And it's the same with the Greek and the Hebrew. Like, the Greek ain't our language, just like English ain't our language, just like Spanish ain't our language. But we use it a different way than our oppressors use it. And it's the same thing in the Bible. All right, go ahead. It's like you.
Khan of the one Khan. For H, for the Hebrew, H430 means Elohim. Elohim.
Allahayim. So
Elohim Salak.
in the Hebrew is Allahayim. All right. In the Hebrew is Allahayim. Or you could see Allahayim. That's why in Genesis 1:1, where it says, I think we went over this a couple of weeks ago, where it says, in the beginning, God created heaven and the earth. This is, let me go ahead and go to it in the Hebrew and Bible Hub. It's another tool that I think you should, you know what I mean, brothers and sisters should get acclimated to, because it's gonna help you if you get acquainted with the language, you get acquainted to the Hebrew and all these resources that I'm showing you how to use right now, and you just apply Black culture, or what they call Ebonics, or I think now they call it something really, I think they call it something, what is AAVE, African American English Vernacular, or African American Vernacular English, or whatever they call it. But you know what I mean, that just shows you that we speak the language a little bit different than our oppressors. No matter what language you got Spanish, and then you got Spaniard Spanish, and then you got Mexican Spanish. Then you got Puerto Rican Spanish. Then you got Portuguese. You got you got Portuguese, and then you got the way black people speak Portuguese. You got French, and then you got Haitian Creole, which is very similar to French, but it's slightly different. And it's all spoken just like how we speak the Hebrew, or how you see the Hebrew spoken, rather. Like we kind of like blend things together, like you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? Know what I mean, what you got?
I was gonna say that's so heavy the way you breaking down these languages and how through cultures they change. Like even with the English language, us as African American, so-called African Americans, we have our slang. But then you go upstate, they got their slang. Then you go down south, they got their slang. But
Yep.
Salakia.
No, that's an absolute fact, and all of these things matter. And this is why, again, that's an excellent point what you just said, because this is why Christians don't understand the Bible. Because if I say that's my dog, or if I say he a dirty dog, you know what I mean? You know how black people, we can say the same thing, and depending on who we talking to or how we say it or where we're at, it can mean two different things. Like if I say you a dirty dog, if I say you a dirty dog, you could be a brother that, got a lot of kids. You could be, you got a lot of women. Or if I say you a dirty dog, it could mean you a terrible person. You know what I mean? It depends on where you at. If I say, you know what I mean, I don't want to say nothing that's gonna get me jammed up on here, but basically, no matter depending on what hood you in, you say the wrong thing. You could say this thing over here. You could say this thing over here, and it could, you know what I mean, build a bond with somebody. But if you go across the train tracks, you know what I mean, you're on the wrong side of the tracks, you say the same thing, your life is in danger. And Christians don't understand that because they're in their mind, they're whitewashed because that's the intention of Christianity. You know what I mean? But that's how important the language is. If you read in the Hebrew or you read in the Bible and you interpret it one, I don't know if you was here the other week, but we was talking about inflection as well. When you read the Bible, was you here? Does it sound familiar? When you read the Bible and you read a question as if it's a statement, it could change the entire meaning of what you're reading. Like if you read a question like a statement, it could change the entire meaning of what you're saying. You know what I mean? And vice versa. If you read a statement like a question, you can change the entire meaning of what the verse is saying. If you interpret this word as, you know what I mean, you take a word in English or you take a word in Hebrew for face value without considering its implications, go to Shabbai. I got it highlighted as well. But we talked about this last week as well. But if you use a word in Hebrew and take it for face value and don't consider its figurative implications, like most words that you see in the and we're gonna get to Allah in the or the different ways to say God in the Hebrew in a second. But if you don't consider the different implications of a word, then you're not gonna understand what you're reading. Most words, you know what you're looking for? Yeah. Yeah, you in the it look like you in the right place. Actually, yeah, it should be the last one of the last here we go, right here. That portion right there. So read that. So there's figurative what else? As a matter of fact, go to Ra. So we already talked about last week. So Shabbat. Well, you can actually, since you're already there, you can read that. You can read that.
Concert. Concordant code H7646.
Mm-hmm.
Sabah.
Shabbat.
Shabbat.
Shabbai.
Shabbai. Which means have enough, feel, self, fill with, be full
Mm-hmm.
of, to be full of, to the full, have plenty of, be satisfied,
Mm-hmm.
to be weary of.
So that's what Shabbai means. It means to be full, to be satisfied, to have enough. You know what I mean? What else does it mean though? What does it say? It should be several different.
To be plentiful. Hold on, Shalak.
Is there a number there? It should.
Or it says or as well. Filled to satisfaction. Fullness, satisfying, be satisfied, abundance. Well, not this. No.
There we go. Right there.
Sir.
But it also means something else. Go ahead, Salaki.
It says primary. Okay, 7. It says
It means
7
what?
times.
Seven or 7 times. That's why you see in the scriptures. Just to pick up where we left off last week. When you see in I think it was Matthew 18 or Matthew. It's somewhere in Matthew where a disciple asks Christ, "How often should I forgive my brother?" You don't get that precept? But you know what I mean? When the disciple asked Christ, he said, "How often shall I forgive my brother? Till 7 times?" Same with Isaiah the 4th chapter. I believe Tabazar pulled it out this Monday. I'll go to that while you grabbing that as well. Because this is another thing too. I'll go ahead and share this one while you can read that as well. So Isaiah 4:1. And in that day 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, "We will eat our own bread." Let me make sure. Oh, there we go. Saying, "We will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by that name, by thy name, to take away our reproach." See, this is a prophecy saying that if you go to Isaiah 3 and read Isaiah 3 in that whole chapter, it talks about the condition of our people, particularly our women. And it describes a condition that they in right now. That lets you know that, Christians and fake Israelites, they say, "Oh, in the kingdom, you're gonna be able to have multiple wives." But right now it's not lawful. You know what I mean? That's another doctrine that comes from not understanding the Bible. Like if you're not taught, you're going to create a new doctrine that's going to destroy you, and you're going to destroy other people with your doctrine if you don't know the Bible. But it says, "In that day 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel." You know what I mean? The Christian church will have you believe that a man ain't worth nothing unless he paying on your bills. And that's why our sisters are so destroyed now. Where they trying to put it in our sisters' minds that you know what I mean, a man ain't nothing, a man ain't worth your time or worth no respect if he ain't paying all your bills. I saw a disgusting video where a sister said, "If you see me, if you looking at me and I see you looking at me and you with some interest and you see me about to pay for, I'm about to pay for my food or I'm about to pay for something. If you don't come and step up and say you got it and take care of the bill, then you basically ain't worth nothing." And that's how we end up getting, that's how you end up at a Diddy party. Long story short, that's how you end up there. Because you put value on money. You look for a high value man based on his pockets. And everybody and their mama thought that Diddy was a high value man. And now you fast forward to 2025, this brother is on trial, he in a jam for, having these freak offs 2026, you look at the whole Epstein list, the Epstein files, and everybody in those Epstein files has money. Everybody in that in them Epstein files would be considered a high value man because they wealthy. You know, Donald Trump, Epstein, you know what I mean? Everybody in those Epstein files doing something just heinous. Harvey Weinstein, everybody that's on those flight logs going back and forth to Epstein Island, they got some money. And everybody on that list would have been considered a high value man. And that's how that's how our sisters pick. They pick based on your pockets, man. But that's not how you, you know what I mean? That's not how you choose a man, sisters. And it's saying it right here. Because in that day, in the condition that we in, when we destroyed, our sisters is bald, and you know what I mean, you gotta buy your hair from another nation, and you gotta, you know what I mean, buy your feminine care products from another nation, and you know what I mean, we got diseases and we destroyed in that day. In this day, in 2026, 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. So these sisters in this day, they saying we'll eat our own bread, meaning we'll take care of ourselves. I don't need you to pay my bills 50-50. I don't even need you to go 50-50. I'll take care of my bills. I'll take care of the responsibilities of being an adult. And we'll wear our own apparel. I don't need you to buy me a Birkin bag. I'll take care of that. You know what I mean? I'll take care of myself. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. They just want our reputation, which is another word that's, you know what I mean, that we use today. You know what I mean? It's not talking about, it's talking about taking on your name, you know what I mean? But it's also talking about you know what I mean, being known by your reputation. Like you walk through the streets, you know what I mean? You walk to the Passover in 10 days. You know what I mean? You go to the Passover and everybody's gonna see you and they're gonna be like, oh, that's Tapazar wife. You know what I mean? Brothers and sisters, or sisters check in, with the salute, and they say rib of possession of. You a real zealous sister. You say property of. You know what I mean? That's a one West sister. But these sisters check in, Shalom Yahweh Shamar Latan Bashem Yahweh Shah, wife of priest and officer, such and such. That's you're checking in under his name, under his reputation. You know what I mean? But that's all that's required. You know what I mean? These sisters in that day, in this day, they just want to be called by your name. They want to be known as officer, priest and officer, such and such wife. They want to be called by your reputation. You see this brother getting on, you know what I mean? He doing these videos, he teaching classes, he going to camp blazing on your oppressor. You see him raising the dead. You see him on podcasts and doing interviews and radio shows and things like that. And that sister, oh my God, that sister sitting at home and she get to see her husband on national television doing the work of the Lord with all his might. And she get to sit there and be like, that's mine. I belong to him. That's my husband. That's what these sisters get to say because of his reputation. You know what I mean? That's what that word means. But, you know what I mean? You ask a Christian, or which comes from your oppressor, you ask your oppressor, and they going to see that. Zariah. What are you doing? No, go sit down. But you see that, and that's just to get to say, you know what I mean? Or you know what I mean? These Christians, your Christian, which comes from your oppressor, they read name. He's like, let us be called by your name. They like, oh, you know, now that's, you know, you got to go to the courthouse and change your name. And that's the only way to get married. That's how your oppressor interprets that. And that's why now, you know what I mean, that's how we do it. The only way, you know what I mean, you're not married until somebody get on one knee and cry crocodile tears, which is so effeminate. I don't know what kind of woman want a man like that, to be honest. But, you know what I mean, you got to cry crocodile tears and tell her, I love you, and you my queen, you my rock, you my soul. You got to get on one knee and put the ring on her finger And you know what I mean, now y'all gotta change it. You gotta change your name. You know what I mean? That's what your oppressor thinks name means. But really, once you lay with that man, your reputation comes with it. And how do we know this? Because you sleep with a man, that's part of your reputation. You know what I mean? Cardi B, you know what I mean? Whether she married or not, you know what I mean? She was married to, I believe it was Offset or whoever, one of the Migos. You know what I mean, she was married to him for a little bit, and then they got a divorce. But everywhere she goes, somebody, I think she's with a different, you know what I mean, some entertainer or something like that, a ball player or something like that. But even though she slept with a man, married him on paper, and then divorced him, you still, every time people see Cardi B, she still carries that reputation. Oh, you were Offset's wife, and now you're such and such wife. And now once she hops off his rod and finds a new rod, now you were Offset's wife, and this brother's wife, and this brother's wife, and this brother's girlfriend, and this brother's baby mama. Your reputation follows it. That's how you know that the Lord, what the Lord says is over everything. It doesn't matter what your oppressor interpretation of what a word or what a phrase means. The Lord will show you, you know what I mean, what he says is supreme. You know what I mean? But that's what name means. But where it says, "In that day 7 women shall take hold of one man," we just read in the concordance, and it's the crazy part. The number 7 wasn't even a first definition. It can mean 7, but all 7 means is enough. So when somebody say, I had about, like, it's like when we say right now, like when we say like 5011, 5011 ain't a number. I don't know if you know that. I just but 5011 ain't a number. That's not a real number. But when we say it's been, like Usher say it's been 11 days, umpteen hours. You know what I mean? Them not real numbers. Umpteen ain't a number. Like even Juneteenth, that's not a real number. It's just to indicate a particular amount of time. That's all it is. And it's the same with the number 7. 7, when we say 7, just like when we say 5011, when we say upteen, when we say Juneteenth, it just means enough. It just means a particular amount of time. Plentiful, enough, what else did that say? Plentiful, enough, satisfied. So in that day, 7 women, meaning that man is going to have enough women. He's going to have enough women. He going to have whatever that look like. You know what I mean? A man can have one wife. He can have no wife. He can have 100 wives. He can have 1,000 wives, like King Solomon. You know what I mean? But you know what I mean, whatever that looks like, whatever enough is to that man, whatever enough look like to the Lord, that's what that's talking about. And I just want to bring that, you know what I mean, to the forefront, because a lot of times, even when sisters come into the truth, or even brothers, even when brothers and sisters come into truth, like a lot of times we try to dictate how many, especially a sister, like sisters try to dictate how many wives your husband can have. Like, okay, I'm cool with, you know what I mean, a sister be like, yeah, I'm cool with, you know what I mean, I guess, you know what I mean, if the Lord say so, I'm cool with my husband having one other wife, but oh, he got 2 other wives. Now he doing too much. Oh, he got 3 other wives. Oh, now it's got to be a sin. You know what I mean? Lord forbid he get more than, you know what I mean? This is what I see. This is what General Muhammad said. He said, you know what I mean? If, you know what I mean, you got 3 wives, you know what I mean? And they if they all get along, you know what I mean, Lord, you know what I mean, well, however that work, they all get along. You got 3 wives. If you look at another woman, you know what I mean, you go get you another wife, all 3 of those women gonna feel like you cheated on them. They're gonna be like, why aren't the 3 enough? Like this word just mean. Why aren't these 3 wives that you have plentiful? Isn't that enough? Aren't you satisfied with these 3? You know what I mean? It don't matter whether, I mean, if he got 1 and he's satisfied, that's 7. If he got 2 wives and he's satisfied with his 2 wives, that's 7. If he got 3 wives, so on and so forth, you get the point. That's how we use words. All right. Where was we at? Go to another word. And this is gonna make it crystal. This is gonna make it clear. Go to ra'ah. Ra'ah. All right. And this is gonna make it as clear as I can make it. As a matter of fact, I think sis is about to. Well, I'll let you do your thing. You can find that, and then whenever she pull up, you free to go ahead and handle your business, and I'll pick up where you leave off. But the way that this definition is written, it's gonna make it clear. It's gonna make it clear for you how these words are used and how they you know what I mean, depending on context, how it's used, depending on implication. Just like when I say, that's my dog. But that's my dog. He a dirty dog, but he a dirty dog. I just said 3 different things. I said 3 different things. Depending on the context of what, that's crazy. I just said 3 different things. Hey, everybody in the chat, if you understand what I just said, huh? If you understand what I said, just put a comment in the chat. If you understand what I just said, I said, hey, this my dog. You know what I mean? Hey, Ike is my dog. And he a dirty dog. We some dirty dogs. But hey, him over there, him out there, he a dirty dog. Put a comment in the chat if you know what I'm talking about. Somebody, hey, if you got the, you know what I mean, you got the courage to participate tonight, go ahead. If you want to translate it, I know some brothers and sisters in the chat watching. If you watching and you know what I said, go ahead, translate it for the melanin challenge people out there. You know what I mean? You know what I mean, people who don't understand what I'm talking about. If you want to translate it, go ahead and put it in the chat. But 9 times out of 10, every brother and sister in this chat, you know what I mean, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You know exactly what I just said. Even though I just used the same word 3 times in a row in a sentence. You shalom on Christ, sis. Shalom on Christ. I'm saying Christ. We'll get you right with the salute here in a second too. I mean, I was waiting for you. I'm glad you showed up. Hey, get down. Be careful. But what was I saying? But yeah, I just use dog 3 different ways. But I guarantee you, every brother and sister knows what I'm talking about. Let me ask you, sis, since you're here, I'm gonna put you on the spot. Yeah. I'm gonna say a sentence to you, and you tell me what I just said. Hey, Aitaza, that's my dog. That's my dog. But that Christian pastor over there, he a dirty dog. What did I just say?
One is good, one is bad.
What do it mean? If I say, hey, Aitaza, that's my dog right there, what that mean?
That mean he could roll with you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's crazy because you using most slang to explain the slang. That's how we roll. You know what I mean? That's how the Bible is written. That's what we were just talking about a second ago. Like the words that you see in the Bible, like I'll go ahead and reiterate since you just walked in. Like this scripture, you was here Monday, right? We kind of touched on it a little bit. But we kind of touched on it a little bit Monday. We went to Isaiah 4:1. I think this was you asked this question, right? Where it says, in that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man. Now, this is the definition of 7 in the Zondervan Bible Diction or the Concordance. So, where is it? Russia. Bear me 1 second. There we go. So this is the definition of 7. Now we're reading in English right here, Isaiah 4:1. As a matter of fact, let me get to it. Isaiah. And the Hebrew, a lot of times, a lot of brothers and sisters kind of get intimidated with the Hebrew. It's I mean, if you don't know the language, it can be on a surface, it can look scary. But if you just think like a black man, a black woman, how we talk, it's not so scary. It's not that deep. You know what I mean? It's just like, you know what I mean, we naturally talk this way. So this is the word that's used, shabai, right here. I don't know if you could see this on the screen. So it says number one, a primitive cardinal number, seven, uh 7, which is what it means literally. The last one, you see an indefinite number. An indefinite number. So even though you see in 7 in the Bible, this is an indefinite number. And I'm gonna show you what I mean. So in that day, 7 women, but the definition is filled to satisfaction, to have enough, to fill, to fulfill, to be full, to satisfy, to have plenty, to satiate, to, you know what I mean, all of those are to suffice. All of these are synonyms that just mean enough. You know what I mean? But you wouldn't know that unless you know what this word means in the Hebrew, and you also just think like a black man. Like, you ever heard? This is the example we used earlier. You know the Usher. What's that Usher song? Confessions? Is that? Oh, Let It Burn. That's the one where he say it's been 50, 11 days, umpteen hours. You don't listen to Usher. I understand, sis. I understand. I got you. But you know, I mean, you ever heard somebody say 50? I told him 50, 11 times. You never heard that or used that yourself? Or I told him umpteen times. You ain't never heard that? Umpteen. That's not a number, but that's how the word is used. You know what I mean? It's the same with 7. 7 is just umpteen. Umpteen. It just means enough. I mean, or even Juneteenth, the holiday Juneteenth. Juneteenth is not a number. I don't know if you know this, but Juneteenth is not a number. It's just it's indicating a period of time, indicating a period of time where, even though we had supposedly got our freedom from physical slavery in Galveston, Texas, we didn't know that we was free for, I believe, almost 3 years. So during that time, between, like, I think the week of between the 13th to the 19th or something like that is where Juneteenth falls, somewhere in between there. But that it's used the same way. And if you just think like a black person, you'll get it. Like, Juneteenth makes sense to us. We get it. Umpteen, even though umpteen ain't a word. If you say, hey, I done told you umpteen times, you know what I mean? We know what you're talking about. Even though umpteen ain't a word, somebody gonna sit down. You know, somebody gonna adjust something. We like, hey, she fed up. She had enough. We gonna get it because we are the Lord's chosen people. In the same way we speak English, the same way we speak Spanish, even though those aren't our languages, we speak it like black people. And slang is woven into the Hebrew. And that's why the Christian church don't understand the Bible, because they were taught by your oppressor how to understand the Bible. So just like when Nicodemus in John 3, John the 3rd chapter, when Christ said to get the kingdom of heaven, first you got to be born again. Now Nicodemus, he was a black man, but he was taught the indoctrination of what was acceptable in Rome. So even though he was a black man, talking to a black man, they say, you got to be born again. He was like, born again? What you mean? Do I got to crawl back into my mother's womb and be born and come out a second time as an adult? It's like, first of all, that sounds crazy every time I read it. Like, and Christ was he was just like, aren't you a leader of aren't you the ruler of the Jews? But you don't understand these. That's how we look at, let me go to it since we on the topic. it was all linguistics. Like Christ was speaking how we speak as black people. Let's go to John. And this is another reason why this is the bedrock scripture of Christianity. But oh wait, that's First John. Salaki, I'm wrong. Bear with me, Salaki. It's John 3. But this is how we look at people. Like, you ever hear somebody say, "You picking up what I'm putting down"? You know what I mean? You know what that means, right? Just put it in simple terms for you know me for our white friends out there watching. Well, what did that mean when I say you picking up what I'm putting down?
Well, it depends on what context you speak it. I mean, if it's concerning another woman, okay, it could be concerning a man. If it's concerning my child, it could be concerning um, something I learned which is no good, but now you doing it. You want to pick it up.
Okay, I got you. Now I'm talking about the literal phrase. Like if I say, like, I'm from the Midwest, and it's a lot of, you know what I mean, they talk in parables. You ever hear like them old school pimps? They be, you know, they rhyme when they talk. They say, they be like, let me think of something. Like when they say, some, you know what I mean, they'll say something like, "You picking up what I'm putting down," or "You smelling what I'm cooking." You know what I mean? You feel me? You smell me? You know what I mean? What is that? What am I saying? All those things I just said. What am I actually asking you?
Are you with me? Do you understand?
Or do you understand? That's what it means. Is that simple? But if somebody we talk slang to one another, and if somebody don't understand, we gonna look at them like this, like how Christ let me share this tab. Verse 4. So verse 3 he said, Yahushua answered and said unto him, "Very, very, verily, verily, I say unto thee, except a man be born again, he cannot see the kingdom of God. Nicodemus saith unto him, How can a man be born when he is old? Can he enter the second time into his mother's womb and be born?" That's every time I read it, sound disgusting. Like, what's wrong with you? Like, why would you really think that that's what I meant when I said that? You know what I mean? Verse 5, Jesus answered, "Verily, verily, I say unto thee, except a man be born of water and of the Spirit, he cannot enter the kingdom of heaven." So, just like how I threw you picking up what I'm putting down, and we didn't quite you know, I'm from up north, so you know the slang that we use up north is a little different than the slang that we use, you know, down south. So sometimes we're not gonna always understand each other. We're gonna miss each other sometimes. You know what I mean? So he threw another one at him. He was like, "All right, you picking up what I'm putting down?" He didn't understand that. Are you smelling me? You understand that now? Are you feel me? I'm not talking about you feel me like you making contact. Do you feel me? I'm saying, do you understand in different ways? And hopefully you pick up one or the, you know, one of the ways or the other. That's what Christ is doing. That's what he just did here. He said, "Verily, verily, I say unto thee, except a man be born of water and of the Spirit, he cannot enter into the kingdom of heaven." He's saying the same thing he said before, being born again, being born of water and of the Spirit. That which is born of flesh is flesh, and that which is born of spirit is spirit. See, the first thing he said went over his head, and he's the ruler of the Jew. He's a ruler of the Jews. Or where verse 10, I'll drop down to or verse 9. He said, Nicodemus answered and said unto him, "How can these things be?" Christ, like, he smacked his teeth. I'm sure it don't say it right here, but I'm sure he kissed his teeth. He was like, you know what I'm saying? You know how black people do. What you you wanted to say something, sis?
Yes. Well, I mean, how could you be born of the Spirit?
Are you asking me?
Yes, I'm asking.
Okay. You select it. I think the answer is actually here. But you what you doing right now, you come to class, that's how you born of the Spirit. He actually says it right here. Where we at? In verse 6. That which is born of flesh is flesh. Now, at some point in time, hey, wait, go sit down. Go sit down. At some point in time, we were born of our flesh. We were of flesh. Like we there's no secret that our diet, you know what I mean, Black Hispanics and Native Americans, we die of hypertension, you know what I mean, heart attacks, strokes, high blood pressure, gout. You know what I mean? You watch the movie Soul Food? No, Big Mama was, cooking every Sunday, and she ended up at the end of the movie, she ended up, losing her leg, and then she ended up losing her life ultimately. And it's because we eat abominable animals, unclean animals that the Lord said don't eat. You know what I mean? So even though this runs in our family, we eat pork chops and bacon and, pork bacon and all of that. And we got the pork neck and the collard greens and all of that. That's what's killing us. Yet, what do? We used to eat the pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster, and then we pass it down. Y'all from Louisiana, so y'all be having them crab boils and the crawfish boils and all of that. Even though these things are, disgusting. We eating all manner of frog and alligator and catfish. Yeah, I mean the confession good for the soul. I used to love all of that. I don't want to. I used to love all of that. The crowd, the crab legs and the alligator and the frog legs and all of that. But that's because I was flesh. Being born of flesh is you don't lead your body. Your body leads you. What I'll give you another example. Celebrating holidays. We know that Santa Claus ain't real. You don't even have a chimney. I guarantee you probably don't have a chimney. But for a long time, we continue to teach our children Christmas, Easter. Lucky Easter coming up. Bunnies. I don't know if you know what I mean. I don't know if y'all notice online on all my white friends. Bunnies don't lay eggs, but in that Christian church, they're going to be having an Easter egg hunt. That's being born of flesh. You do what your body tells you to do. You shouldn't sleep with that. For my brothers, you shouldn't go and sleep with that prostitute. But you're gonna pay that money to sleep with that tail, knowing that she's for sale. You shouldn't deal with that brother. You know what I mean? But because your body wants that brother, you go and sleep with that brother. We shouldn't do drugs. But because your flesh wants drugs, you go and do drugs. Now, here's another one. This is how you know that your flesh is leading you. Everybody that does drugs, smokes cigarettes, alcoholic, or whatever the case is, they always trying to what?
Stop.
Come on, give her a hand. See, you in the spirit. Everybody that does drugs or smokes cigarettes, they trying to stop. But guess what they do? They gonna go get that cigarette. Why? Because their body is leading them. Their flesh is leading them. So the way to be born of the spirit is you have to do what you're doing right now. Come to class and learn what the Most High wants you to do. So when you see those cigarettes, your body wants the cigarettes. Just because you come in here and get cleaned up, you're not gonna stop wanting cigarettes. You're not gonna stop wanting drugs. You're not gonna stop wanting alcohol. Your body wants it, but your spirit, because the Lord said not to, you're not gonna do it. That's the difference between being of flesh and being born of the spirit. Does that make sense?
Yes,
Go ahead.
kind sir.
You wanted to?
Um, in the Christian church,
Mm-hmm.
um, so are people just deceived, or they are born of a false spirit? Can you be born of a false spirit?
Um. To okay, I think I understand what you're saying. It's a little bit of both. So we deceived, right? Our oppressor has. We learned. Let's go to John 8 and 44. I think these are scriptures that we went to last week. John 8 and 44. And this goes right into what we just read in Salakia. This goes right into what we just read in say that again. That's a good one too. You go, you got it right now? Okay, no, so now you could grab that one too. That's an excellent precept, the water. So this is uh John 8:42. Jesus said unto him, if God were your father, ye would love me, for I proceeded forth and came from God. Neither came I of myself, but he sent me. So Christ is in the spirit. You know what I mean? Because Christ suffered temptation too. You know what I mean? He wanted rulership and he knew that he was fit to rule, but he had a mission. You know what I mean? I'm sure he was, right before he got taken and crucified, he prayed to the Most High, which again, that's how you know that Christ is not God. But he prayed to the Most High. He was like, please, if this cup can pass from me, let it be so. However, thy will be done. See, in his flesh, he didn't want to do it. But in his spirit, he did what the Most High told him to do. So he didn't he didn't come of himself, but the Most High sent him, right? Why do you not understand my speech? Even because ye cannot hear my word. And this is how we look at our brothers and sisters when they don't understand our slang. You ever see like somebody who talks real proper and tries to act like they're better than, it's a black person. He grew up in the hood just like you, but he, he might have went to college, and came back, and now he or she think they better than you, and now they talk to you a certain way. They don't understand. All of a sudden, they don't talk. They don't eat cornbread and fried chicken no more. They only eat Nobu. You know what I mean? They only eat They only eat steak 48. They only eat lobster and crab and all of that. They they don't understand slang no more. They don't listen to rap music no more. You know what I mean? That's how we are when we try to talk to one another and we don't understand slang. All right. Verse 44. Ye are of your father the devil, and the lust of your father ye will do. You know what I mean? So to answer your question, we do a lot of the things that we do. We born, we're not born, but we've been celebrating. Hey, y'all play back there. Y'all stay back there. But we been celebrating Christmas since before we remember. Like that's just tradition. We celebrate the unaliving of Native Americans every year. Just it's tradition since before we can remember. You know what I mean? We you know what I mean? All of the disgusting things that we do, it's because we learned from our father the devil, our oppressor. You know what I mean? If the Most High was our father, then we wouldn't eat pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster. We will be of the spirit. We wouldn't celebrate Christmas. We wouldn't celebrate Easter. But since our father is the devil, then we keep Roman customs. We keep Christmas. We keep Halloween. We keep Valentine's Day and all those different things. Hey, y'all play back there, all right? If y'all can't play back there, I'm gonna make y'all sit down. Go sit down. Go play back there. Y'all stay back there, all right? But we do those things because that's what was taught from the beginning. Because we are of our father, the devil. You know what I mean? But that's where that comes from. Now, Slacky, you might ask your question one more time. I feel like I'm missing a part. You said, man, I wish we could run it back. I got you. So we was taught those things. Oh, you wanted to clarify?
Yes, I was asking. So, so many believe that they are born again, and so my question was: are they deceived, or can you be born? Is it possible for you to be born again of a false spirit?
Uh, yes, it's possible, and that's what you see in the Christian church. Um, like you know how they do. You know how they know that they not born again. How you tell me? I know you know this. Sometimes it's a little hard to see because we've been raised with Christianity 10, 11, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years of our lives. And we come in the truth and we're babies in here. So it might be hard to see, but you tell me how you know the Christian church, the Christians ain't born again.
How do I know, or how
Yeah.
do they know?
How do you know? Because they, like you said, they're deceived. So you was right about that. How do you know that they're not born again?
Well, the ones that that I mean, look. I don't have the spirit. I don't give the spirit, so I can't judge that. But the ones that is questionable is because it's still carnal, it's still fleshly, and the scripture says that the way of the transgressor is hard. And so if it's hard for you to keep the law, if it's hard for you to obey the word of God,
Mm-hmm.
then that the scripture says that's the way of a transgressor.
Mm-hmm.
So
now you right.
You need to check and examine that.
You right. Let me tighten it up for you because what you said was correct. What you wanted to go before?
I was gonna give an opinion how you know that the Christian church is still fleshly. That was they're not born in the spirit.
Yeah, they're not born again.
Because they still living off John's they still practice John baptism, like what we talking about. They don't go through like the fire. They still believe that being baptized through the John baptism is the way to.
You right too. You right too. But this is I'm gonna tighten it up for both of y'all. You know that the Christian church isn't born again because they haven't changed. They used to be drug addicts. How many times you got to get baptized in the Christian church? How many times can you get baptized?
You should only get baptized once.
Yeah, I mean
when you're baptized, you're baptized.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you should, right?
Yeah.
But how many times can you get baptized in a Christian church?
I don't know.
I
don't know. I stay away from the water.
Most
times, water don't do nothing for me.
Most times, give her a hand. You in the spirit, sis. The Christian church. You could get baptized an endless amount of times. You get dunked in that water as a homosexual. You just come out the water a wet homosexual. You know what I mean? Hey, I thought. But you get dunked in that water, a drug addict, you just come out a wet drug addict. And then Sunday after church, you go, Monday, you're going to be doing the same drugs that you just repented from. You're going to be sleeping with the same whores you just repented from. You know what I mean? You get dunked Sunday, you know what I mean? By Saturday night the next week, you're going to be back at the strip club, praying to the Most High that, you know what I mean, the ballers is in the club tonight. And then you, after a long Saturday night of stripping, Sunday morning, you gon', hey, this is true story. I used to drive Uber, right? And I picked up a sister that was a stripper. And she told me that she performed in a nightclub and now she about to go sing in the choir. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Like you can't, like, I try not to get too personal, you know what I mean, especially at work. But I was just like, you gotta be kidding me right now. Like, did you just hear what you just said? Like, you just performed last night, you know what I mean? You know what I mean, in this club. And now you're about to go sing in a choir. You going to choir practice? Like, that don't sound. Hey, don't do that. Don't do that. Go, y'all stay back there. But you gonna go to the choir and now you a Christian? Now you holy and sanctified? Last night you just confessed that you was on some other stuff. That's how you know the Christian church ain't. They're of the flesh still. You know what I mean? They haven't changed because they do the same thing that they did before they was baptized. You know what I mean? That's the difference. I hope that answers your question. Is that? But that's the difference, though. You know what I mean? They don't change after they get baptized. They just come up out that water and go back doing the same drug that they repented for them. After they, you know what I mean, they shaking they behind on the stripper pole. Saturday night, Sunday morning, they come in, get baptized again, and then come out the water and then leave just a wet stripper. And they go back the next week and do some more stripper. Then they come back, get baptized again, and then come back a wet stripper. You know what I'm saying? But that's how you that's how you know the difference between if you're actually born of the Spirit or if you just faking the funk like the Christian church does. You know what I mean? You was about to ask something or say something? We got all night. You ain't.
Well, we are talking about people,
Mhm.
and so I mean, what makes one place different than another place? I mean, in here, someone could uh could leave this place and do unlawful things, and then roll back in here, So no,
Stick around, sis.
stick around.
You'll absolutely see that this place is not like the Christian church. Like brothers, first of all, if you come up in here and I mean you first of all, you come up in here and change. The Christian church, they'll not only will they won't, correct or teach you what's actually in the Bible. They encourage you to be a sinner. Like I don't know if you heard this before, but in the Christian church, they say if you don't sin, that's show that you don't have faith. You heard that before? Because Christ died so that I can eat pork. Now, if I decide that I'm not eating pork, oh, that's the old law. That's the old law. We under the New Testament. The only way in the Christian church, they encourage you that the only way that you can show faith is by breaking the law because Christ died and you're covered in the blood. So you see how backwards that is? You can, well, don't do that. But these Christians are, hey, y'all stay back there. Y'all gonna find out here in a second. Hey, y'all play back there. Y'all can play. Just stay back there, all right? Need some markers? You want some markers? Yes. You might grabbing them some markers over there. Y'all stay back there though. All right. But what was I saying? But yeah, in the Christian church, they encourage you to sin. And if you do sin, they say, I don't know if you heard this before. The Christian church also says, the Christian church also says that the Most High hates the sin, but loves the sinner. You heard that before?
Yes, kind of, sir.
These are the things that they say because their doctrine is sin. But here's what the Bible says about sinners. So like, bear with me 1 second. The book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 12 and verse 6. For the Most High hateth sinners. Now the Christian church says that the Most High loves the sinner and hates the sin. The Bible says the Most High hates sinners. So that's the main difference. In here, I mean, of course, we're not your. We are going to give you the opportunity. We're going to provide you a place and all the resources to change. So if you need, you got a drug problem, you call and get counsel, and then we'll help you get off of drugs. You're an alcoholic, you call and get counsel. We got an alcoholic program where we'll get you, right back where you need to be. You got a problem with whores, you got a problem with any addiction or any, whatever problem that you got, you smoke cigarettes or you eat pork or whatever the case is. You could just call and get counsel and we'll help you to be able to fight those demons. And we're going to give you the scriptures. We're going to give you the history. We're going to give you the law. You know what I mean? We're going to give you the history of, you know what I mean, of what our records are and how we conduct ourselves so that you can apply that to your life. You know what I mean, the Christian church, they're not going to teach you the Bible. They're not going to teach you the truth according to the Bible. They're going to allow you to and encourage you to still be a sinner. You know what I mean? Now, if you in here and you leave here and go and, you know what I mean, you getting high, you know what I mean, you getting high on the low and try to act like you ain't, you know what I mean, getting high, you're not going to be able to stay in here for long. Like the scriptures say, try the spirit. You can try to act like you something that you're not. First of all, you're a hypocrite, and hypocrisy can't live here because of the spirit that's in here. Because we actually serve the Lord behind closed doors and in public. We actually follow the law, statutes, and commandments behind closed doors and in public. So if you behind closed doors you sinning, but then you come around here and act like you righteous, the fact that you surrounded by so many righteous brothers and sisters that actually love you and actually, you know, die for you, actually, you know what I mean, will actually do anything for you. You know what I mean? Of course, that's lawful. Then it's going to convict you. Like a drug addict's not going to be able to be in here, and I'm talking about how disgusting it is to be a drug addict. You know what I mean? An LGBTQ member is not going to be able to sit in here and hear us talk about how being an LGBTQ member is disgusting. It's going to convict you. So whatever, I don't know what you're doing behind closed doors. You know what I mean? What's the most popular one? Somebody who, because interracial marriage is unlawful, right? Now, if a black person comes up in here, a black or Hispanic comes up in here, and we say the white man is the devil, you know what I mean? And we talk about all the crimes that your oppressor did, and we talk about how disgusting they are and how you should sleep with them. It's going to convict you because you're going to go home to a white woman or a white man, and your family can't come in here. Your white husband or your white wife, they not allowed to be in here. So you're not going to be able to come in here and call the white man the devil and then go home to a devil. You understand? It's going to convict you. And that's just the atmosphere that's created in here in the spirit of the Most High. You know what I mean? Coming out of because all we doing is reading the Bible. It's none of this is a personal attack. Nothing I've said tonight was a personal attack to anybody. I'm just reading the Bible and I'm saying what the Bible allows and what the Bible doesn't allow. But if you outside of these doors and you sitting on the low and you come up in here, it's gonna convict you until eventually you're just gonna leave. And if you know what I mean, if you don't leave yourself and you continue to do those things, then the Lord is real. Like this ain't the Christian church. The Lord will deal with you. If you try to like what I think earlier this week, Tabitha was talking about the wheat and the tares. Remember that? He's in the parable, he said, let the wheat and the tare grow together. Lest when you pull up the tares, you pull up the wheat also. You know what I mean? So the Lord is going to allow you to, you know what I mean, grow with us for a while, even though, like Judas was a tare. You know what I mean? He ended up getting, you know what I mean, he ended up selling Christ to the Romans to be unalive. And then once he did that, because Christ knew that he was all about money. He was money hungry. He was greedy. And Christ knew that about him. But he didn't remove him. He let him grow with the disciples. And then when Christ got unalived because of Judas' betrayal, what happened to Judas? After he sold it for 30 shekels, what did Judas do?
He went on and he hung himself.
He did. Mm-hmm. Because he was convicted. You know what I mean? He was surrounded by all these righteous brothers, these disciples. You know what I mean? He was raised under Christ. He walked with Christ. And then he saw his brother get unalived for something that he did. Because he was on the low sneaking and geeking, doing whatever he was doing behind closed doors. He was greedy behind closed doors. And that was something that he didn't fix in himself under Christ's instruction. He could have got counsel from Christ. He was winning. He was walking with him. He could have gotten counsel. He could have gotten help from any of the brothers that was around him. but that was something that he just didn't get rid of. And at the end of the day, it got him on the lives. Now he grew up with the disciples, but at the end of the day, if you don't fix that in yourself, long story short, if you don't go through the proper channels to fix yourself in here, then you're gonna leave, or the Lord's gonna sift you out. Like it's what does it say? Like he will sift his people in a sieve. You know what I mean? He'll sift out his people. Oh wait, no, that's talking about getting us out of these other nations. But he's gonna the judgment happen, or the judgment starts in the house of the Lord. You know what I mean? He starts with his people. And if you you think you hide it from the Lord. You know what I mean? You think you hide it from the Lord getting reports about you. And you know what I mean? He gonna sift you out of here. That's the difference between a Christian church and in here. You know what I mean? You wanna sneak and you know what I mean, you wanna sneak and get your jollies off. You go to the Christian church. Any of these Christian churches, they'll accept you. You know what I mean? But in here, we get clean. What you got, sis?
I would like to know, understand Acts 2, chapter 2, verse 36 and 37.
X2. So like let me go to it real quick. X2. You said 36?
36. Acts 36.
Let me see. Let me hold this because I don't want to get too far off topic.
Okay.
Off the Lashawan Qadash. Write this question down and bring it to class on Monday.
Okay.
And I believe Tabas are going to be teaching, but if not, whoever take the class, whether it be me or another brother, I'll just answer it then. All right.
Kind sir.
But this what it looked like is going right into what we're talking about. When it says they were pricked in their hearts, that's the difference between it. Like in a Christian church, you don't feel that in your heart. You know what I mean? You don't feel conviction. You know what I mean? You go sneaking and geeking, you know what I mean? You on a stripper pole Saturday night, and then you go in a Christian church, and you get to be the same way you was shaking your behind on that stripper pole Saturday night. You get to go in that stripper. You get to go. Good night. You get to go into that Christian church. You get to go in that Christian church and shake your behind the exact same way. You ever see how they, you know what I mean? They get down. But last night you was just in the I don't know what y'all be wearing at the strip club. So like, you know, in the club, you just had on your little your skirt and you was shaking your behind. You had on, you know what I mean, whatever you had on. Now you just got a big old white hat in the Christian church, but you still shaking your behind. You ever see them what they call they call it shouting up north, where you know what I mean, they get the catching the Holy Ghost and all of that. They and they get to doing all of this gyrating and all of that. I don't know what they call it in the South, but you know what I mean, you was doing that same thing, that gyrating and the all of that, and the hooting and hollering and all of that. You was doing that same thing Saturday night. And then you come into church Sunday morning. Hey, go sit down. You do that same thing Sunday morning in the church. You same exact thing. That's the difference. You don't feel that conviction. You could be a hoe in the Christian church. They encourage you to. You know what I mean? But did you have any well, let me see, what time is it? Let's go ahead. Where was we at? Okay, I want to show you this real quick, just to get back on the language. So we just went to, where was we at? Isaiah 4:1. That word is 7. In the Hebrew, is Shabbat, which means to be full, to be plentiful, to have enough, to be satisfied, to satiate. All of those just means enough, to have enough. You know what I mean? If you thirsty and you drink some water, how much is enough water? How much is enough?
until my thirst is quenched.
Damn right. How many? If a man has multiple wives, how many wives is enough?
I don't know. You need to ask that man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's an excellent response. You ask that man, or you leave. I don't worry about it. Long story short, it's however many that man wants. That's how many wives is enough. How many the Lord wants him to have. You know what I mean? Because you know what I mean. Of course, you don't want to be greedy, and that's not up to you as well. Because greed is subjective as well. Now, let's go to Deuteronomy. What is it? Deuteronomy 20. Salakia. This is another Salakia. Go to Deuteronomy 17 and start at 16. Yeah, 16. And read that when you got it.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 17, verse 16.
Uh-huh.
But he shall not multiply horses to himself, nor
Right.
cause the people to
Wait.
return to Egypt.
Slow that down real quick. Read that again.
But he shall not multiply horses to himself.
He shall not multiply horses to himself. So what does that mean, sis? Does that mean you can only have one horse?
No, it doesn't sound like it.
You either got one horse or you got multiple. But right here it just said he shall not multiply horses. So is having two horses unlawful? Because that's multiple, right?
Correct.
So that's the Christian church will, when they say, it'll say in the next verse, neither multiply women, but they'll read that scripture and overlook this. They'll say, see, you can't multiply wives unto yourself. That means you can only have one wife. But it just said, read that again.
But he shall not multiply horses to himself.
But when they read, hey, get out. No, don't do that. Don't do that. What it'll say, they don't read this and think, oh, they don't read this and say, oh, you can only have one horse. Go ahead.
Nor cause the people to return to Egypt, to the end he should multiply horses.
Uh-huh. Go ahead.
For as much as the Lord have said unto you,
hey, no,
he shall henceforth return no more that way.
Verse 17.
Neither shall he multiply wives to himself.
So this is the one where they say that hey, make sure you close that door. Go to the bathroom, close the door. But they'll read this and say, neither shall he multiply wives unto himself, meaning you can only have one wife. You can have as many horses as you want. But right here, they say this means you can only have one wife. That's not what this is talking about. Go ahead. And this is the cut right here in this very verse. This is how you know the Christian church is born of the flesh and not of the spirit. Like we was just reading about a second ago. They of the flesh because they damn sure don't agree. They damn sure don't agree with this next part. It says that his heart turn not away. That's important. Neither shall he multiply wives to himself, that his heart turn not away. That's the important part. Neither shall he greatly multiply to himself silver and gold. Now, does that mean don't get money? You know the Christian church don't agree with this. Because they pass, how many times they pass around that collection plate? They pass around 11 times. They pass around 18 times. You see how the language is coming back? I mean, they passing around that collection plate 11 times. So they definitely don't think that this is talking about you can only have one gold. You can only, if they read this scripture and applied it to how they apply it to having multiple wives, then that means they can only have one horse. That means that they can only have one piece of gold, one piece of silver. Hey, get from back there. You finish? Get from back there. Move. But if they read it like how they read about the wives, that means you can only have one horse, one wife, one piece of silver, $1. But they not satisfied with $1. You know what I mean? Your Christian pastors, they pass around a collection plate. They'll lock the doors. Like what's bro name? Marvin Sapp. He say close the doors. We not leaving out of here until I get $40,000. Close the doors. You know, and Kimberly Daniels, she say somebody in here got $20,000 for me. You know what I mean? And then they'll berate you until you give up that money. They'll talk to you like you nothing, like you garbage until you give up that money. So they definitely know that this ain't talking about. They get real spiritual when it come about this money. But now all of a sudden, when we talking about wives, you carnal. This ain't talking about having one wife. This is talking about greed. I'll read it again, verse 17. Neither shall he multiply wives unto himself, that his heart turn not away. That's how you know it's talking about greed. You can have many wives, but don't multiply wives, nor horses, nor money, nor things. Don't multiply things that your heart turn away from the Most High God. That's greed. Now, how many horses? Now, if you can have more than one horse, more than one, more than $1, more than one wife, how much is enough? 50-11. That's enough. You know what I'm saying? 7. That's what 7 means. It just means enough. Just until you had enough. You know what I mean? Hey, I see also Zagar. What you got, sis?
So the question is like I explained, you asked about the water.
Mm-hmm.
What is enough? Because marriage marriage is for the body. The body.
What you mean?
I mean we marry
Mm-hmm.
because the woman's body becomes okay, the Bible explains that the woman's body is for the man.
Mm-hmm.
And the man's body is for the woman.
Uh-huh.
So
and they become one flesh, right?
So that's flesh.
Mm-hmm.
That ain't no spirit.
Mm-hmm. It is spiritual. Because guess what? We're one body. We're one flesh. You know what I mean? Even though I'm one body with you, because we believe the same thing. We both are in here and we believe the same thing. And I'm one body with him. You get the point? We're one. That's what it's talking about when it in regards to marriage. When two come together and become one flesh, that man that has this woman right here, that man and that woman came together and they became one flesh. They became one. They became on the same page, on one accord. And then he goes and gets another wife. And they become one flesh. They become on one accord, one body. They agree. Like the scriptures say, can two walk together unless they be agreed? I'm married. And that's why it's important to not multiply wives to yourself that your heart turn away. So just to answer your question, that's when it's enough. Till your heart that your heart don't turn away. That's all. So if I got 7 wives, literally 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm one body where she agrees with me. 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 We're all one. Now that don't mean we like, and that's another mistake that brothers and sisters make with like having multiple wives. Y'all don't have to like. There's no such thing as sister wives in here. That's not in the Bible. Y'all are sisters. You know what I mean? Just like this is my brother. Y'all are sisters, but y'all don't have to hang out if y'all don't want to. Y'all can hang out if y'all want to. Y'all can know each other if y'all want to. Y'all don't have to know each other though. Y'all can talk. Y'all don't have to talk though. But what y'all are gonna do is y'all gonna be sisters to one another. You're not gonna steal from her. She's not gonna steal from you. You're not gonna call her out her name. She's not gonna call you out your name. You know what I mean? She's not gonna feed, you know what I mean? She's not gonna eat pork. You're not gonna eat pork. You know what I mean? You're not gonna sneak and put pork in her food and vice versa. You get the point, right? But
Answer.
and then also for brothers, for your heart not to be turned away, it's important that when you marry a woman, that y'all agree. That's why we have the court. That's why we have the 90-day process where you go and read them security announcements, Baba Kasha. Go to the part about rule for new brother and sister.
Khan. When a new brother or new sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months.
They are off limits for 6 months. That's why we do this. Go ahead.
They are to be saluted only.
So
They-
shalom, sis. Shalom, Lord in Christ. No, you don't do that. Well, go ahead. You to be saluted only. So I say shalom, Yahweh, Shem, Yahweh, Shabrakatah, and you say shalom, Yahweh, Shamar, Alatah, Bashem, Yahweh Shah. And that's it. You know what I mean? I'm not finna, you know what I mean? We're not finna be like, hey, what you doing late? You gonna go get some drinks? We're not finna do that. We're not, you saluted only. You know what I mean? Go ahead. Cause why?
They are here to shed themselves of the world.
You're here to shed yourself for the world. You know what I mean? So we don't pray on our sisters like the Christian church. You get a new sister, that Christian pastor, like sister, sister, sister. You know what I mean? Hey, come, oh, you need some private counseling. I got some private counseling for you. Come to my back office. Let's get some private counseling. Before you know it, that sister, sleeping with the pastor. I'm gonna put it in a tasteful way. But that's what the Christian church does. They take advantage of, sisters, single sisters, or if the sister's married, they take advantage. You know what I mean? Go ahead.
After 6 months, if a brother or sister has interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister.
Now, after your 90 days and that brother shares themselves of the world, then you must get permission to speak to a brother or sister. That takes away the opportunity or the temptation for you to be carnal or fleshly and take advantage of a new brother or sister that shed on themselves of the world. All right. Go ahead.
After this 6 months period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry.
Now you'll get permission. So after you get permission to talk to a brother or sister, y'all will court for 6 months. That's the process. You'll get permission to court for 6 months to a year. And that's how you'll talk to the brother or sister. You'll find out who this brother or sister is. You'll find out if y'all agree. First of all, the first thing y'all should agree on is following these laws, statutes, and commandments. And that's why most of the time when a brother or sister goes and marries somebody outside of the ISUPK, it doesn't last long. It doesn't last long because you don't eat pork, but he does. Now imagine if y'all had children together. Now you don't want to feed them pork. They don't think it's a big deal. So y'all are not one. You get the point? So the first thing you should agree on is following these laws, statutes, and commandments. And that should be a deal breaker right there. Now, if I just met you in a club and you was twerking on the dance floor, would it be wise for me to marry you? Why not? Because we don't agree. Our sisters in here are modest. They cover themselves up. I meet this sister in the club and she got her breast out, she got her behind out, and she putting her behind on all different types of men in the club. We don't agree. We're not one. So off of that, I shouldn't marry you. I should give you time to go ahead, read my mind, sis. Go ahead. What you got, Itis? I read my mind.
Shed yourself from the world.
That's what I should do. I should give you time to shed yourself from the world before I marry you. Because after I marry you, then I can't put you away. because now I'm a sinner. And that's how you multiply wives unto yourself, that your heart turn away. You marry a sinner, you marry somebody that don't agree with you, and now you have to, because you married a whore out there, now you gotta put her away. You gotta divorce her, which is unlawful. Or sisters, you know what I mean? You hot in the tail, you know what I mean? And you see this brother, you know what I mean, he in the club, he throwing money, he got chains on, and you know what I mean, he this, that, and the third. And you marry this man and you find out that he's a drug dealer. Find out he's a murderer. Well, now your husband, your Lord, the one that you call Lord and say Khan not a one Khan to, he's a drug dealer now. And you can't divorce him. Now you can't go and find you a better man because you slept with this drug dealer because he looked good to you. That's the first thing. That's the first thing. You know what I mean? So to avoid multiplying wives to yourself that your heart turn not away, the first thing is you make sure you agree so that when y'all do uh, cons- uh consummate the marriage, y'all are one body. You get the point? No, so you wanted to say something?
Okay, so you speaking about agree.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so um, so is it only worldly for a sister to go to the club and not a brother?
What you mean?
I mean, so is it okay for the brother to go to the club and
It's
see?
it's okay for brothers and sisters to go to the club. Now, here's the thing though. We just read in First Corinthians the 11th chapter that the head of the man is the head of the woman is the man.
Correct.
Our job is to, if necessary, die for you. We have to protect you. We have to provide you wisdom. So if your head, whether it's your father, your camp leader, an officer, or your brother, you know what I mean? If they tell you, or your husband, if they tell you don't go out, you should follow his instructions for your safety. You know what I mean? But it's not unlawful for you to go to the club. You know what I mean? But you do have to do it in a way that keeps you protected. Because if anything happens to you and you just decide that you're gonna go out, you're not gonna communicate with nobody, you're not gonna tell your camp leader, your husband or your brothers where you at. Anything happened to you, you know what I mean, in these streets, we can't give an account for you. Like it says in, I believe, Hebrews 15, it says, obey them that have the rule over you so that they can give a good report. You know what I mean? A good report is, you know what I mean, this sister did her 90 days. You know what I mean? She received her name. You know what I mean? She's in good standing with the school. You know what I mean? She's courting this brother. You know what I mean? She's got a, you know what I mean, she's courting this brother. She got permission, you know what I mean, to marry this brother. Now you have a beautiful, strong couple that agree. A bad report is this sister at this such and time, you know, she went to the club. She didn't report to her camp leader. She didn't report to her brothers. And there was a shooting at the club. You know what I mean? And now this sister got caught in the crossfire. And now we gotta prepare for her funeral. That's a bad report. You know what I mean? So it's lawful to go out, but you do have to follow your Lord's instructions when doing it. Sometimes he might just instruct you not to go out, and that's for your safety. All right. Now, brothers, of course, it's the same thing. It's lawful to go out, like the scriptures say. Not everything is lawful, but not everything is expedient. So yeah, you can go out, but it goes back to not doing things that don't make your heart turn away from the Most High. Now you can go out, but if you're an alcoholic, you probably shouldn't go out because guess what's going to be at the club? Alcohol. If you got a problem with whores, you probably shouldn't go out because guess what's going to be right there at that club? Whores. You know what I mean? If you got a problem with gambling or, you know what I mean, mismanaging your money, you know what I mean, you should probably not go out because guess what's going to be there? All sorts of things to spend your money on. You know what I mean? So it's the same thing. It's no different than a sister. You should get counsel, and you should do what is enough. You know what I mean? Do what's enough. You know what I mean? If you could, it's nothing wrong with having 1 drink, 2 drinks, 3 drinks. You know what I mean? But you get the, you know what I mean? And what's too much to drink? Is it 1 drink? Is it 2 drinks? Is it 3 drinks? I don't know. Who knows? What's too many drinks? Go ahead.
I don't know. Are you asking me what is too much?
I'm just asking in general. Go ahead.
50-11.
Yeah, 50, 11 of them. That's too much. That's too much drink. 50, 11 could be 1. You have 1 drink, and that 1 drink take you out. Too many drinks could be half a bottle of scotch. Too many drinks could be 1 beer. But too many is when you sin, when you start to turn your heart away from the Most High. When now you done had so much to drink that now you sleeping with any whore in the club, and cause she's a whore in the club, now you want to put her away. That's too many drinks. You understand? Or you know what I mean? You in the club and you having a drink, and now otherwise you will be faithful to your husband, but now because you done had 1 too many drinks, that's another slang too. Like, what's 1 too many? Who knows? It's non-specific. It's figurative. But too much is when you have 1 too many drinks, and you know what I mean? Now where otherwise you would be faithful to your husband, now you sleep with this man you met in the club. And now you just sinned. So as long as your heart don't turn away from the Most High, you good to go. And that's why you got brothers. That's why you got sisters. Because we gonna make sure, because a lot of times I don't know if you heard this in the world, but I'll be transparent. My mother used to say, experience is the best teacher. And it made sense in the world. But what you'll find out in the truth is experience is the worst teacher. Ask Adam and Eve. They experienced what it was like to experience the curses, to have the Lord against them. They experienced death. And they didn't die immediately, but their oldest son became a murderer of their second son. You know what I mean? They lost the kingdom of heaven. They got kicked out of the Lord's protection. They lost the Lord's protection. That's what happens when you learn from experience. So that you don't have to learn from experience, that's why you got brothers. We'll be able to be around you. That's why we typically don't go out by ourselves. You know what I mean? We typically don't go out by yourselves. Again, it's not unlawful to go out by yourselves, but we roll together. That's the protocol. You know what I mean? Because if you drinking, you might think you good, but I'm observing you. I'm your brother, and I'm like, hey, you done had a couple of them. You want to slow down, get you some water. You know what I mean? Make sure you stay in. You know what I mean? Keep some water in your system so you don't turn your heart away from the Most High. You know what I mean? I see you looking at that sister over there shaking her behind. You know she was just dancing on old buddy over there. You know what I mean? You know she was just dancing over him, dancing on him, and then now you gonna get behind her. Now you dancing on her, and then now it's 2:00. You done had a couple you know what I mean? You had 50, 11 drinks, and now you ready to go home with her. I don't think you should do that, brother. And that's the thing too. Like, you go out and you experience that with a brother, you're less likely to be tempted like that. You go out, you with sisters, you less likely to be tempted like that. You by yourself, nobody sees you behind, like you was talking about earlier. You leave here behind closed doors. I don't see what you're doing at home. I don't see you know what I mean? You going to the club and you meeting the man in the club, and then you take him home and sleep with him and then throw him away, and then you get you another man. I don't see that. But if you got brothers, you're less likely to do that, because our presence is gonna help one another not turn our heart away. You get the point? That makes sense? That's why. Go ahead.
Kind sir, it does make sense, and I understand, but
Mhm.
I'm having a hard time seeing the difference between the preaching and between brothers going hanging out at the club,
Mhm.
especially they're married, and might have more than one wife. I mean, what is your purpose for going there? To see them shake their ass?
Well, what would happen? Let's get this real quick. I'll tell you
I
what.
mean, the preacher, the ass is just coming to the preacher, but the brothers going where the ass is.
Go to Matthew. No, go to Mark. Let's go to Mark. Mark 2:17. Yeah, Mark 2:17. This should answer your question. All right.
Khan of the one Khan, the book of Mark, chapter 2, verse 17. When Yahweh heard it,
Verse 16.
Salak,
This is how Christians think. Verse 16. Go ahead.
Khan of one Khan, verse 16. And when the scribes and the Pharisees saw him eat with the publicans and sinners, they said unto his disciples.
So they asking the same question. They saw Christ going to eat with the publicans and the sinners. Right? That's the same thing as us going to the club. You see us going to the club, go ahead.
They said unto his disciples, how is it that he eateth and drinketh with publicans and sinners?
See, that's the question that you're asking. How is it that we go into the club? You know, it's all it. What you doing? You going to see them shake they behind? Is that what we going to the club for? You going to, you know what I mean? What? Especially if you married, right? Lord forbid you married. You got wives at home, and you just go into the club and see these other women, right? Go ahead.
Verse 17. When Yahweh heard it, he said unto them, they that are whole have no need of the physician.
They that are whole. You know what that means?
In the truth.
Mm-hmm. We don't give her a hand. Us that don't go to the, you know what I mean, the sisters that are in here that don't go out to the club and shake their behind, they don't need a physician. Us that don't get high, we don't need a physician. We don't smoke cigarettes, we don't need a physician. You know what I mean? But go ahead.
But they that are sick, I came not to call the righteous, but sinners to repentance.
Where are the sinners at, sister?
In the club on the pole.
Mm-hmm. They right on that pole, shaking their behind. Give her a hand. They in the club. They getting drunk. They in the club getting high. They in the club shaking their behind. Now we don't go to no strip club. You know what I mean? But you go to a little nightclub. Where they just pouring drinks and all of that, playing music. That's absolutely fine. But that's where our people is. They in the club shaking their behind, showing their bodies off. You know what I mean? They getting drunk, getting high. You know what I mean? Fighting with one another. That's where they at. If we stay in here, if we stay only amongst one another, then how we gonna fish? You know what I mean? We have to go to where they at so that we can give them the medicine and the help that they need, so that we can turn them, that same sister that was just shaking her behind in the club, we could bring her in here, clean her up, shed herself from the world, and then in 90 days, you're gonna see a miracle from the Lord. That's why we do those things, sis. That makes sense?
Kind, sir.
Most High in Christ. All right, with that, you know what I mean, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up right there. Make sure you like, share, subscribe to the channel, share it with your loved ones, share, you know what I mean? Save the video too, comment and all of that. You know what I mean? And the more we like everything we just looked at in the Bible, you know what I mean? We was using slang all night. I don't know if y'all noticed that. That's the nature of the Hebrew. It's just slang. You know what I mean? It's slang. If you just remember that this is a book about black people, for black people, you know what I mean? It's about our ups and downs and our relationship with the Most High and these other nations. If you just remember that this is a black book and black people talking to black people about black people, then you can easily understand not only the language, but the scriptures as well. You know what I mean? And that's the whole point. That's why we teach Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans the truth according to the Bible, so that we can get our culture and identity back. All right. But with that, we're going to go ahead and give a courtesy salute to the brothers. Individual, Imadium, which means to stand. Mada Shabbat, Imadium, Barak, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shabrakata, Yajim Atah, Star. We'll turn to face the sisters, give a courtesy salute to the sisters. Sisters, Imadium. Individual, Mada Shabbat, Imadium, Barak, Yahweh Shamar Alatan by Shem Yahweh Shah. Shamar Alatan by Shem Yahweh Shah. Yajimata, class reviews.
Because when I found this truth, guess what happened? I put my birthday away. When I found this truth, I put the drugs away. When I found this truth, I quit whoring my sisters. When I found this truth, I started becoming a better man and a better person. Because now I know I'm on that narrow path. Now I know I'm on a righteous path. Now I know what I'm doing is going to get me somewhere.